The establishment of certain political systems and agendas can severely modify a nation's overall goals, providing a platform to potentially help or hinder the development of individual well-being. The utilization of democratic, communist, and military governments to promote reconciliation can have contrasting outcomes depending on the country developing the ideology. In the instances of Canada, Myanmar, and East Germany, the transition into alternative political schemes has drastically affected the quality of life experienced in the nation, both for better and for worse. Officially titled the German Democratic Republic, the state of East Germany was established during the World War II period following the defeat of Nazi Germany. As a temporary measure to promote peace and prosperity, the Allied powers, Britain, the United States, France, and the Soviet Union, divided the nation between themselves. However, their vision for Germany's economic resurgence was not shared, and by 1949, East Germany had officially separated from its Western counterpart. Education was also a high priority for the East German government, with state-run creches, polytechnic schools, vocational training institutes, and universities. School was compulsory until 16 years of age, and the institutes throughout the state were highly regarded worldwide. The GDR's technical positions and programs catered for a wide array of interests and skills, which benefited individuals who could choose from several specialties, and the government, who were able to appease and provide for their working class. However, university positions, particularly for professions such as law, medicine, and information technology, were scarce, with only the highest performing students receiving entry. To receive such an offer, one would have to pass a set of extremely specific and subjective criteria, including national service time, Communist Party membership, patriotism, and religious affiliation, clearly demonstrating the government's internal influence and prioritization of those supporting the communist regime. Though individuals in East Germany were provided adequate healthcare and a commendable education system, which provided many with an acceptable level of well-being, the lack of personal freedom diminished any strides accredited to the ideology. The Stasi, short for the Ministry of State Security, continued to be one of the most feared police establishments in history, with their legacy in East Germany being one of dread and apprehension. Though their formal role was relatively vague, the Stasi practiced mass surveillance and state-sanctioned espionage under the guise of suppressing the revival of Nazism. The organization became known for kidnapping fleeing officials, holding detailed personal files on over a third of the population, and maintaining an internal web of approximately 2 million informants.
Due to Canada's colonial era, it has a parliamentary system, a representative democracy, and a constitutional federal monarchy, which is very similar with Australia's. It gained its independence since 1867. Different from its neighbor America, Canada gained its independence quite peacefully. She gained from political process instead of starting a war. Nowadays, Canada is one of the most educated countries in the world. It is a developed country which has the 15th highest income per capita and 10th highest ranking in Human Development Index.
Myanmar, also known as Burma, has been known to having an authoritarian government that places a high holding for militarism. However, since 2016, the leader Hitin Kwa was democratically elected by the people, symbolizing a new revolution of change. The Rohingya minority in Burma has been under gruesome abuse and discrimination, with no access to freedom of movement, education, and civil service jobs, along with a lot of other Burmese civilians. The strong rebellion of oppressive military rule has had a strong support since the 1990s, especially with role model Aung San Suu Kyi being in house arrest for 14 years and a clause establishing in their very own constitution that she cannot be president. This has detrimentally impacted its citizens by them having a distorted ideology of well-being and freedom. Before Burma was a democratic, their country suffered many problems, both economically and socially, including one of the most controversial abuse of minorities, such as the Rohingya. However, after the fight to become an independent democratic country, the Burmese people have learned that the power is within the people, and this has led to significantly more amount of protests since 2012, by it increasing by 48% to the government to show more equal rights. Myanmar is a prime example of how this system of government has a major impact on the country's overall well-being, education and health levels.